Before a single green flag waved at Pocono Raceway this weekend, 2 crew members were already gone, ejected, banned from the property for the rest of the event. One of them belonged to Kyle Larson's team. NASCAR inspectors found something wrong with his number 5 Chevrolet. Not once, twice. By the time it was over, Larson's team had lost their pit stall, lost a key crew member, and lost control of their own race weekend before they even turned a lap in anger. If you think that's where this story ends, you have no idea what's coming. Because 48 hours later, that same driver was sitting on the front row, leading laps, and proving NASCAR's punishment meant nothing to his speed. And that's not even the wildest part of this weekend. A man with a broken wrist nearly stole a victory with nothing but fuel and nerve. A 21-year veteran joined a club so exclusive, only 2 other names in NASCAR history have ever been in it. And a championship race that looked decided in April just turned into a dead heat. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why people are calling this the most dramatic weekend of the 2026 NASCAR season. But before we get into it, I want to ask you for something, and I mean this sincerely. This channel exists because of people like you, people who love this sport enough to sit through every twist and every heartbreak just to understand the full story. We put real time and care into these breakdowns, and it means more than you know when you hit that subscribe button. So if you're new here, or you've just never gotten around to it, this is your moment. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and let's go on this journey together every week. Now let's get into what actually happened at Pocono. It all started on Saturday, before the green flag had even crossed anyone's mind. Kyle Larson's number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet rolled through NASCAR inspection and failed. Then it failed again. According to Kelly Crandall of Racer, the consequences were immediate. NASCAR stripped the number 5 team of their pit stall selection for the entire weekend, and car chief Jesse Saunders was ejected from the track for the rest of the event. That matters more than it sounds. A car chief manages the car's setup, tracks its condition all weekend, and bridges communication between driver and engineers. Losing him before a 400-mile race at one of the toughest tracks on the schedule forces the whole team to rebuild on the fly, with almost no time to do it. And Larson's team wasn't alone. Daniel Dye's number 78 Live Fast Motorsports Chevrolet also failed twice and got the same punishment, with engineer Chris Stanley ejected from that camp. Both cars eventually passed on their 3rd try, so they kept their right to qualify and avoided in-race penalties. But the damage to their weekend was already done. Losing pit stall selection matters at a track like Pocono. Instead of picking the stall that suits their strategy, both teams got stuck with whatever 2 stalls were left after everyone else had already chosen. At a track where pit road execution can decide the whole afternoon, that's a real disadvantage. Larson wasn't even the only headline. Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, and Ryan Preece were all sent to the rear of the field for unapproved adjustments. The garage was already buzzing before the race even started. And this isn't an isolated thing. Inspection penalties have been a running theme all season. 4 car chiefs were ejected at Las Vegas earlier this year. Similar issues popped up the week before at Michigan. Teams are pushing every limit they can find, and NASCAR keeps answering with consequences. For Larson, the timing made it worse. This was the 16th points race of the season, with only 10 left before the playoff field locks in. He entered the weekend 6th in the standings, where every point and every position carries real weight. Losing his pit stall and a key crew member here wasn't just bad luck, it was a genuine threat to his Sunday. The weather piled on too. NASCAR moved the start time up 2 hours, from 3 to 1 o'clock Eastern, to beat storms rolling toward the mountain. Less time to prepare, less margin for error, for a team already scrambling. So by Saturday night, penalized, down a crew member, no pit stall choice, and almost no buffer left. Then Saturday, practice happened. Despite everything stacked against him, Larson's number 5 Chevrolet showed up on the speed charts like none of it had happened. He topped the field in practice with a lap of 170.707 miles per hour, and, more importantly, led the field in 10-lap average speed, which most in the garage consider a far better predictor of race pace than a single hot lap. That told everyone this car had the pace to run up front all day. Then in qualifying, Larson backed it up with the second fastest lap, locking in a front-row start. Pole went to Denny Hamlin. When the green flag dropped, Larson passed Hamlin on the opening lap and led until lap 25, when Hamlin drove back past him coming off turn 3. Larson stayed a factor all afternoon, but the biggest story of the day belonged to someone else entirely. Denny Hamlin won the Great American Getaway 400, his 8th career victory at Pocono, extending his own record at that track. But here's the real headline. This was the first time in Hamlin's 21-year career that he'd won 3 races in a row, following back-to-back wins at Nashville and Michigan. And all 3 of those wins came from the pole. The last driver to do that was Darrell Waltrip in 1981, winning 4 straight from the pole. Before that, only Richard Petty, twice, in 1966 and 1967, and Bobby Allison in 1971 had ever won 3 straight from the pole. That's the entire list. Hamlin's name is now on it. The win also pushed his career total to 64 Cup Series victories, putting him alone in 9th on the all-time wins list, ahead of his late former teammate Kyle Busch. "Just so special here," Hamlin said. "Just so happy for this whole Joe Gibbs racing team. This is a team effort. They've given me fast cars. The pit crew is flawless right now. We've just got it all going." Asked about his team's confidence, he was direct. "I'd say it's certainly the best we've been. We come to the racetrack every week knowing that we've got a great shot to win." But the man who almost stole this race deserves just as much attention. Hamlin's own teammate, Christopher Bell, gambled on a fuel-saving strategy in the closing laps, trying to stretch his tank across the final 51 laps without pitting. It was a massive call from crew chief Adam Stevens, and for a while, it looked like it might work. Bell inherited the lead on lap 138 and built a gap of nearly 17 seconds at one point. But he was racing with a broken left wrist from a violent crash with Chase Elliott the week before at Michigan, racing in a cast, with Brandon Jones on standby as relief driver. As the laps wound down, Hamlin slowly closed the gap. 10 to go, 4.8 seconds. 7 to go, 2.6 seconds. Then, into turn 3, Hamlin made the pass. Bell had to pit for fuel from 4th place entering the final lap and fell all the way to 26th. "We were mired back in the 20s, so I think it was an amazing call," Bell said. "This was not a woulda, coulda, shoulda. That was just a gamble. We ran around 20th all day." He still sits 70 points above the playoff cutoff, so the damage was limited. But coming a single lap short of a win, on a broken wrist, will sting for a while. While Hamlin and Bell dominated the headlines, Legacy Motor Club had one of its best days in years. John Hunter Nemechek led a race-high, career-best 42 laps, more than he led in all of 2024 or 2025 combined, finishing 4th, tying his career best. Teammate Eric Jones finished 6th, his 2nd straight top 10. The playoff bubble is razor-thin. Shane Van Gisbergen holds 14th, just 10 points clear of 17th. Keselowski, Jones, and Austin Cindric are tied for 15th and 16th. Joey Logano sits 21 points outside the top 16. With 10 races left, every weekend from here will bring real pressure. Top 10 on Sunday: Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, William Byron, Nemechek, Larson, Jones, Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain, Ty Gibbs, and Ryan Blaney. Zoom out, because this is one of the wildest storylines in the sport right now. After Tyler Reddick's 5th win back in April at Kansas, he held a commanding 105-point lead. Thanks to Hamlin's 3-race streak, that gap is down to just 19 points, the smallest margin all season. And here's the twist. Hamlin co-owns Reddick's team, 23 Watt Racing, alongside Michael Jordan. He's literally chasing down his own driver for the championship. "I'm excited to try to keep this run going somehow, some way," Hamlin said. "We've come so far with the points we've gathered that I don't want to break that momentum." With 4 wins already in 2026, Hamlin is now on pace to challenge Dale Earnhardt's 76 career wins, and he's hinted that 2027 will likely be his final full-time season, which makes this run feel like one of the last great chapters of his career. For context on just how rare this stretch is, winning 3 straight from the pole is a feat only Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, and Darrell Waltrip had ever managed before. And nobody had done it at all since Waltrip's run in 1981. That's 45 years. Hamlin just did it across 3 completely different tracks in 3 weeks. The series now heads west for the inaugural Anduril 250 on the Qualcomm circuit at Naval Base Coronado in San Diego. A brand new 3.4-mile, 16-turn street course with tight corners and tricky sightlines. It's a completely different test from Pocono, and it'll show which teams have the range to compete everywhere. Larson arrives still chasing his first win of 2026, despite consistently strong speed. Bell arrives nursing a fractured wrist, uncertain if he'll even race. Legacy Motor Club arrives with real momentum, and Hamlin arrives as the hottest driver in the sport. 3 straight wins, 64 career victories, and a championship lead now genuinely within reach. Byron, Reddick, and Larson clearly have the speed to challenge him. But right now, with the playoffs closing in, nobody in the garage has found the formula to slow Denny Hamlin down. So let's recap. A team got hit with one of the harshest penalties of the season and answered with a front-row start and a top-5 finish. A driver raced through real pain on a broken wrist and came 1 corner short of a fairy tale win. And a 21-year veteran etched his name alongside Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, and Darrell Waltrip in one of the rarest feats in this sport's history. If a story like this is why you watch NASCAR, then you're exactly who this channel was built for. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and drop a comment on who you think wins the championship this year. We read every one of them, and your support is what keeps this channel growing. This has been NASCAR Report Today. We'll see you in the next one.